This presentation is brought to you by Arizona State University's Julianne Wrigley Global Institute of Sustainability for educational and non-commercial use only.
And thank you for being here with us. My name is Jeanette. We have Ben and Wayne. Our project was to work with Jeffrey from Luke Air Force Base on wastewater management. So what he asked from us is to document best methods that they have been using at Luke Air Force Base, plus providing material that can be easily disseminated. Okay, so I'll start off with defining a few concepts as a background base. I should have started the slide. Take this. Okay, so first I'll be describing oil and water separator, which is basically a device that separates oil from water. And as you can see on the picture, oil rises to the surface. We have the water in between, and then solids settle on the bottom. Okay, so to describe a traditional method of treating wastewater, we have a pump and treat, which is a third party coming in, pumping the contaminated water and transporting it to a water facility, management facility. With this method, we incur high cost on the actual pumping and transporting of the water, high cost on maintaining this infrastructure, which is basically our holding tanks, and high cost on labor hours. Okay, a more sustainable and efficient way of doing this water treatment is bioremediation, which Luke Air Force Base has successfully implemented at their base. So what this is, we have our holding tank with the addition of bacterial injection, and the way this works, bacteria secretes enzymes to break down the oils, and in doing so, they can then eat and digest these particles into water molecules or gases, and it also helps the bacteria reproduce. So now I'll pass this over to Ben. He'll go over on how Luke Air Force Base has successfully implemented this method on base.
So in October, we were fortunate enough to go down to Luke Air Force Base, get the full tour of everything, not just the bioremediation stuff, but Jeff showed us all around. We spent the morning there, got some cool takeaways and a lot of recycling promotional material. But one of the things we looked at is we actually saw this bioremediation system and how it was actually set up. So all it really is this bucket right here, and where they put it is at the end of the system. So say you have 3 sinks going through the same pipe, they're going to put it at the end of the pipe. It just makes more sense that way. So the contaminated water will pass through here. Basically, the microorganisms, the bacteria in there, will convert the organic waste into CO2, into water, and really what that does is it makes it come out much clearer. So when you're doing a traditional pump and treat like Jeanette was talking about, they pass it through. The water only does so. The oil water separators only do so good of a job actually breaking down that material, and then what happens is you're left with a lot of sludge that you still have to go on and clean out after you pump and treat it. The water is much dirtier. It smells bad. It's just all around worse. So what they have is they have these 6-gallon buckets on the system. Really no extra work for the employees other than changing them occasionally. But really it was awesome to see because it was so easily implemented. So that was really all that they had in there. But at the same time, it was very effective in terms of lowering the work, cleaning, making it a better environmental solution, and showing some pretty impressive cost savings. Another thing that I wanted to touch on that was a good sustainability point is as we were going through each of the restaurants, Jeff knew everybody in there. That was something we talk a lot about, is working with your stakeholders, communicating with them. We got free lunch at Popeyes because he was friends with them. But really, it was one of those things that it was cool that you could see that because they brought up his issues. One of them was like a leaky faucet that we talked about. Wayne had talked about how he used to work at a restaurant and used to drive him nuts that there was a leaky faucet, so we had to make a business case about the environmental impact and financial impact to his manager before anyone did anything about it. As we were walking through there actually was a leaky faucet, and they came up to Jeff and said, "Hey, the faucet's leaking, can you help us fix it?" So I just really, even though it wasn't directly related to this in particular, I think it was a good way of looking at how it all wraps together in a sustainability context. So we wanted to give you kind of a visual of it. This is the main oil-water separator at the base. So this thing is big, like you could fall into it and hurt yourself. So on the left, this is in early October when we came. You can see Wayne standing there. It's pretty dark. It was opaque. You couldn't see the bottom of it. Very dark green. It's kind of hard to tell from the picture. The picture on the right is what Jeff sent us. Still green in the picture, but really, if you look, you can see the bottom of the tank. And it's probably like 10 feet deep at least. And this was over the course of a month and a half, 5 weeks, and that's what a big difference it made. So Wayne's going to talk more about the financial impacts and everything, but what I wanted to touch on and make clear is the reason that this was such an effective sustainability solution is because it touched on the 3 pillars of sustainability. So people, it worked very well with the people. It made their jobs easier, and it didn't really force them to change a lot of their habits. The planet, obviously, it's a much better in terms of